Hello and welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanziba Nawreen. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. US sanctions Russia-Iran entities for detaining Americans. US Justice Department sues Tennessee over transgender healthcare law. Jerry Springer, US talk show host and former mayor, dies at 79. Washington, Minnesota become trans refugees shield abortions. Tucker Carlson speaks out for first time after Fox News firing. Concerned about North Korea, South Yoon seeks more US help. South Korea's Yoon meets Elon Musk in pitch for investment. First pill for fecal transplants wins FDA approval. Fuji's rapper found guilty in US over 1 MTV case. China welcomes Yaya the Panda home after 20 years abroad. Turkish Erdogan appears via video link after health scare. Seven killed in fire on passenger train in southern Pakistan. India accuses China of violating border agreements. Pirates star Dick Groat, who also played in NBA, dies at 92. And Nate Diaz surrenders after brawl, lawyer says self-defense. You are listening to Headlines Now News in detail. The Biden administration on Thursday sanctioned Russia's Federal Security Service and Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps intelligence organization for wrongfully detaining Americans. It's the first rollout of new sanctions authorities established last year by President Joe Biden for use against those holding Americans unjustly captive. Still, the sanctions are largely symbolic, since both organizations already are under sweeping existing sanctions for an array of malevolent behavior, from election interference and Russia's invasion of Ukraine to support for terrorist activity. On the other hand, the New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal have released a joint letter calling for the release of Ivan Gershkovich, who has been detained in Russia since late March, stressing that he is being detained solely for doing his job as a reporter. The letter, which appeared in 3 major newspapers on Thursday and was signed by the top editors and executives of the publications, is the latest show of support from fellow journalist to Gershkovich, who was arrested on spying charges while reporting for the Wall Street Journal. As editors and publishers of some of America's largest news organizations, we are united in calling for his immediate release. Reporting is not a crime, the letter reads. Over the past month, we have watched our industry not only rally around Ivan but stand up for journalism and the importance of a free press. We also encourage support from the US government, including President Biden and the White House. Earlier this month, the Department of State formally designated Gershkovich as wrongfully detained and the Biden administration had dismissed the charges against him as ridiculous early on. Russia's foreign ministry announced on Thursday that it rejected a U.S. request for a consular visit to Gershkovich in retaliation to Washington's denying visa request for Russian journalists who had planned to accompany Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on a trip to the United Nations. The United States Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit challenging Tennessee's new law banning transgender youth from receiving gender-affirming care, one of the several laws the state's Republican-dominated legislature enacted this year aimed at LGBTQ+ people. The federal government is seeking to invalidate the statute because no person should be denied access to necessary medical care just because of their transgender status, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Kristen Clarke said in a statement. The Justice Department said the law violates the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause by discriminating on the basis of both sex and transgender status. The right to consider your health and medically approved treatment options with your family and doctors is a right that everyone should have, including transgender children, who are especially vulnerable to serious risks of depression, anxiety, and suicide, Clarke added. The federal lawsuit comes after Clarke sent a letter to all state attorneys general last month, warning them that federal law protects transgender youth against discrimination. The Justice Department also intervened last year in a lawsuit challenging a similar ban on transgender medical care for young people. That lawsuit is ongoing. Jerry Springer, the one-time U.S. mayor and news anchor whose namesake TV show featured a three-ring circus of dysfunctional families willing to bear all on weekday afternoons, including brawls, obscenities, and blurred images of nudity, died Thursday at 79. At its peak, the Jerry Springer Show was a ratings powerhouse and a United States cultural pariah, synonyms with lurid drama. Known for chair-throwing and blip-filled arguments, the daytime talk show was a favorite American guilty pleasure over its 27-year run, at one point topping Oprah Winfrey's show. Springer called it escapist entertainment, while others saw the show as contributing to a dumbing down decline in American social values. Jerry's ability to connect with people was at the heart of his success in everything he tried, whether that was politics, broadcasting, or just joking with people on the street who wanted a photo or a word, said Jane Galvin, a family spokesperson and friend of Springer's since 1970, in a statement. He is irreplaceable and his loss hurts immensely, but memories of his intellect, heart, and humor will live on. Springer died peacefully at home in suburban Chicago after a brief illness, the statement said. Democratic governors in Washington state and Minnesota on Thursday signed into law legal protections for people who travel to those states seeking reproductive and gender-affirming procedures and treatment. They are the latest blue states to enact safeguards against bans or limits on transgender and abortion healthcare in Republican states. In Seattle, Governor Jay Inslee wore a pink tie as he signed a bill that bans other states from using Washington state courts or judicial processes to enforce their bans on abortion and gender-affirming healthcare. The law blocks related warrants, subpoenas, extradition requests, and court orders from other states related to those out-of-state patients. Freedom of choice is a healthcare issue. We are protecting access to healthcare, Inslee said. Halfway across the country, Governor Tim Walz made Minnesota a refuge for young people coming from other states for gender-affirming care. Numerous other states are rushing to impose restrictions on care for those transitioning. The governor also signed legislation Thursday making Minnesota a sanctuary for abortion patients from other states and banning so-called conversion therapy for LGBTQ+ youth. Tucker Carson emerged Wednesday, 2 days after Fox News fired him, with a 2-minute campaign-style monologue that didn't address why he suddenly became unemployed. He posted a video on Twitter shortly after 8 p.m. Eastern, the time his Fox show used to begin, that talked about a lack of honest political debate in the media. Carson said one of the things he noticed when you step away from the noise for a few days is how nice some people are and how hilarious some are. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are, he said. They are completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember we heard them. Trust me, as somebody who participated. Fox fired its most popular personality on Monday without explanation, less than a week after settling a lawsuit concerning the spread of lies about the 2020 presidential election. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol urged ever more strengthening of the US-led security alliance against nuclear-armed North Korea on Thursday, drawing cheers from Congress as he saluted the great American heroes who helped preserve his country's democracy in the Korean War. Democratic and Republican lawmakers rose to their feet again and again to applaud during Yoon's address to a joint meeting of the House and Senate. In his speech that stressed security cooperation at a time of increased tension with both North Korea and China. Yoon also cited US-Korea high-tech trade ties, creating thousands of jobs in the United States. Yoon praised the US-South Korea security partnership since the Korean War 7 decades ago as the linchpin safeguarding our freedom, peace, and prosperity. Lawmakers roared with approval when the South Korean leader closed with, "God bless our alliance." They flocked to him afterward on the House floor, pressing him to sign their written copies of his address. Yoon's visit to Washington has focused on efforts by both countries and other allies in the Indo-Pacific to make their forces stronger, more nimble, better positioned, and more resilient in the event of any conflict in the region. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol has met with Tesla CEO Elon Musk in Washington, D.C. to call for investment in his country, news agency Yonhap reported, citing a presidential aide. The two met on Wednesday at Musk's request while Yoon is in the United States for a 6-day state visit, Yonhap said. Yoon touted South Korea as an ideal country for Tesla to build a gigafactory, citing the country's cutting-edge industrial robots and high-skilled workers, the news report said. He also offered to provide support, including tax benefits, to attract the electric vehicle maker's manufacturing plant. Musk told Yoon that South Korea remains one of the top candidates for a Tesla gigafactory and he expects to visit the Asian country, according to Yonhap. Tesla and Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Reuters news agency. US health officials on Wednesday approved the first pill made from healthy bacteria found in human waste to fight dangerous gut infections, an easier way of performing so-called fecal transplants. The new treatment from Ceres Therapeutics provides a simpler, rigorously tested version of stool-based procedures that some medical specialists have used for more than a decade to help patients. The Food and Drug Administration cleared the capsules for adults 18 and older who face risks from repeat infections with Clostridium difficile, a bacteria that can cause severe nausea, cramping, and diarrhea. C. diff is particularly dangerous when it reoccurs, leading to between 15,000 and 30,000 deaths per year. It can be killed with antibiotics, but they also destroy good bacteria that live in the gut, leaving it more susceptible to future infections. The new capsules are approved for patients who have already received antibiotic treatment. More than 10 years ago, some doctors began reporting success with fecal transplants, using stool from a healthy donor to restore the gut's healthy balance and prevent reinfections. Fugees rapper Prakash Ramesh has been convicted in the United States of conspiring with the financier at the center of Malaysia's 1MDB scandal to illegally lobby the US government. Mitchell was accused of funneling money from the fugitive Malaysian financier Low Tai Zhou to the 2012 re-election campaign of former US President Barack Obama and lobbying the Justice Department during former President Donald Trump's tenure to drop investigations into Low's alleged corruption. Mitchell, who achieved fame in the 1990s with hits including Ready or Not and Killing Me Softly, was also alleged to have lobbied Washington on behalf of China to send dissident Chinese billionaire Guo Wengui back to China. A jury in Washington, D.C. convicted Mitchell on all 10 counts he was charged with, including conspiracy, falsifying campaign finance records, witness tampering, and acting as an unregistered agent of a foreign government. Mitchell faces up to 20 years in prison under the most serious of the charges. Mitchell's defense had argued that Grammy-winning rapper had received bad legal advice and had simply wanted to make money. Mitchell declined to comment after the verdict, but his lawyer, David Kenner, told reporters he was extremely disappointed by the verdict and was confident it would be overturned on appeal. Now it's time for global updates. Yaya, the giant panda, landed Thursday in Shanghai after departing from the Memphis Zoo in Tennessee, where she has spent the past 20 years on loan. The popular panda's trip was closely followed online. People shared screenshots tracking Yaya's flight path into Shanghai. Finally back at home, cheered one user in response to the news. Others asked for a live broadcast of the arrival, which was reported by Chinese state media and claimed 4 of the top 10 trending topics on the social media platform Weibo. An image from Chinese broadcaster Phoenix News was particularly popular among Chinese social media users. It showed Yaya relieving herself before the trip and leaving the poop as a present for the zoo. The zoo held a farewell party for Yaya earlier in April and said it would miss the panda. Her departure marks the end of a 20-year loan agreement with the Chinese Association of Zoological Gardens. Yaya was born August 3, 2000 in Beijing. She lived at the Memphis Zoo along with Lily, a male panda who was born July 18, 1998. Lily died in February. The life expectancy of a giant panda in the wild is about 15 years, but in captivity they have lived to be as old as 38. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan inaugurated a nuclear power plant via video Thursday in his first public appearance since falling ill on live TV and cancelling campaign stops, as he sought to dispel concerns about his health weeks before a crucial election. The 69-year-old leader looked pale, sitting behind a desk surrounded by cabinet members, aides, and political allies to preside at the event, marking the delivery of the first fuel to the Russian-built Akuyu nuclear power plant in southern Turkey. Erdogan, who has ruled Turkey for 2 decades, cancelled election rallies Wednesday and Thursday after suffering what the health minister described as a gastrointestinal infection during a TV interview on Tuesday. Turkish officials denied online rumors that Erdogan, who underwent intestinal surgery in 2011, had suffered a serious illness and was hospitalized. "We categorically reject such baseless claims regarding President's health," his communications director Fahrettin Altun tweeted. Dr. Fahrettin Koca, the health minister, said Erdogan was improving. "I was with him this morning. His health is fine," Koca said Thursday. The effect of his gastrointestinal infection has decreased. He will continue his schedule. At least 7 people were killed after a car on a moving passenger train caught fire overnight in southern Pakistan, officials said Thursday. Railways official Mohsin Sial said the train caught fire in Khairpur, a district about 500 kilometers north of Karachi, the capital of Sindh province. He said 6 people were killed in the blaze while a woman died when she jumped from the window of the moving train. The blaze also badly damaged several other cars, in the train, he said, and the cause remained unclear. TV footage showed several burned sections of the train, which was on its way from Karachi to the eastern city of Lahore when a car caught fire. Local media reported that the flames roared through the train Wednesday night, engulfing several cars. In Pakistan, poor passengers often bring their own small gas stoves on the trains to cook their meals, despite rules barring the practice. Safety regulations are often ignored in overcrowded trains. Train accidents in Pakistan are often the result of poor railway infrastructure and official negligence. India's defense minister accused China on Thursday of eroding the entire basis of ties between the countries by violating bilateral agreements, a reference to a nearly 3-year-old standoff involving thousands of soldiers stationed along their disputed border in the eastern Ladakh region. Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh met with visiting Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu and had frank discussions about the developments in the India-China border areas as well as bilateral relations, India's Defense Ministry said. Singh told Li that development of relations between India and China is premised on the prevalence of peace and tranquility at the borders, and that all border issues need to be resolved in accordance with existing agreements and commitments, the ministry said in a statement. There was no immediate comment on the talks by the Chinese side. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,431.88. The NYSE Composite is increased by 203.30 points or 1.34%. Tokyo stock close price is 28,457.68. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 41.21 points or 0.15%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,285.8844. The Shanghai index is increased by 21.78 points or 0.67%. Hong Kong stock close price is 19,840.28. The Hang Seng index is increased by 83.01 points or 0.42%. Bombay stock close price is 60,649.38. The Sensex index is increased by 348.80 points or 0.58%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. Dick Groat, a two-sport star who went from All-American guard in basketball to a brief stint in the NBA to ultimately an All-Star shortstop and the 1960 National League MVP while playing baseball for his hometown Pittsburgh Pirates, died Thursday. He was 92. Groat's family said in a statement that he died at UMPC Presbyterian Hospital from complications of a stroke. We are deeply saddened by the loss of such a beloved member of the Pirates family and Pittsburgh community, Pirates chairman Bob Nutting said in a statement, calling Groat a great player and an even better person. Groat, who was from the Swissville neighborhood just east of Pittsburgh's downtown, starred at Duke in basketball and baseball in the early 1950s, earning All-American honors in both. His number 10 jersey hangs in Cameron Indoor Stadium. The program retired his number following the end of his senior season in 1952. Mixed martial arts fighter Nate Diaz turned himself into police in New Orleans on Thursday to face a battery charge arising from a weekend street brawl. Police said the fight happened early Saturday outside a pizza restaurant and left a man unconscious. Diaz went to police with his attorney Thursday and turned himself in, a police news release said. His attorney has told New Orleans news outlets Diaz acted in self-defense. Diaz posted bond and was cleared to return home to Stockton, California. Zach Rosenfield, Diaz's public relations representative, said, "We appreciate how we were treated by the New Orleans Police Department, the court, and their staff," Rosenfield said in an email. Diaz has been one of the most popular fighters in MMA since 2016, when he split two entertaining bouts with Conor McGregor. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. That's all in today's news. Keep watching Millennium News 24 for latest update. Millennium TV US and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.